On February 14, 2026, Iran announced it will replace the U.S. Global Positioning System with China's BeiDou navigation satellite system for all military and critical infrastructure. This is more than a tech upgrade. It's a clear break from American-controlled systems and a deepening of Iran's alliance with China. The move formalizes a shift years in the making, signaling Iran's intent to operate outside U.S. influence. For decades, GPS has been the global standard, guiding everything from planes to smartphones. Iran's switch is a declaration of independence from a system it sees as a tool of U.S. foreign policy. We'll explore why Iran made this choice, the technical differences between GPS and BeiDou, and the broader geopolitical consequences. This isn't happening in isolation. It's part of a global trend as nations seek alternatives to Western technology. The transition affects Iran's military and civilian sectors, from logistics to energy. It's a calculated risk, trading the reliability of GPS for the security of a system run by a strategic partner. As we unpack this decision, we'll see how it fits into the larger story of shifting technological power. The era of unchallenged U.S. dominance in global navigation is ending. GPS, now essential to daily life, began as a U.S. military project in 1973. The system became fully operational in 1993, revolutionizing navigation for both military and civilian use. Initially, the U.S. restricted the most accurate signals to its military, fearing adversaries could exploit them. In 2000, President Clinton ended this policy, unleashing a wave of innovation and making GPS the backbone of global logistics, aviation, and more. GPS works through a constellation of satellites, transmitting precise location and time data, allowing receivers to pinpoint their position anywhere on Earth. Despite its civilian ubiquity, GPS remains a U.S. military asset. The U.S. can deny or degrade access to GPS in specific regions, a persistent concern for countries outside its alliance. For Iran, relying on a system controlled by a strategic adversary is an unacceptable risk. This vulnerability has driven Iran, and others, to seek alternatives. The story of GPS is one of technological triumph, but also of geopolitical leverage. As new systems emerge, the monopoly of GPS is being challenged. Iran's move is a direct response to this strategic reality. China's BeiDou navigation satellite system was born from a desire to end reliance on US-controlled GPS. Launched in the 1990s, BeiDou evolved through three phases: a regional system, then Asia-Pacific coverage, and finally, global reach by 2020. Today, BeiDou offers worldwide positioning, navigation, timing, and a unique short message service. China aggressively promotes BeiDou as part of its Belt and Road Initiative, using it to expand influence and offer alternatives to Western technology. Partner countries receive financial incentives, technical support, and a secure non-US navigation infrastructure. This strategy has accelerated BeiDou's adoption across Asia, Africa, and South America. For nations like Iran, BeiDou is more than technology. It's a gateway to a new geopolitical alignment. The system's global reach and China's diplomatic push have made it a credible rival to GPS. Iran's adoption is the latest and most significant endorsement yet. GPS and BeiDou both provide global navigation, but their designs differ. GPS uses about 31 satellites in medium Earth orbit, ensuring global coverage and reliability. BeiDou's hybrid constellation includes over 35 satellites in multiple orbits, giving it enhanced coverage and accuracy in Asia. BeiDou's standout feature is its two-way short message service, allowing users to send brief communications via satellite, a capability GPS lacks. Both systems offer similar accuracy, but BeiDou's design gives it advantages in certain regions and scenarios. For Iran, these technical benefits, combined with the security of a non-US system, make BeiDou an attractive alternative. The choice is as much about sovereignty as it is about technology. Iran's switch to BeiDou is rooted in decades of tension with the US and a drive for strategic autonomy. US control over GPS is a documented vulnerability, one Iran can't afford, especially for its military. Incidents like the downing of a US drone and the assassination of General Soleimani underscored the risks of relying on American technology. Years of sanctions have pushed Iran to seek self-sufficiency and forge partnerships beyond the West. China, through a 25-year cooperation agreement, has become Iran's key partner in energy, infrastructure, and technology. Adopting BeiDou is a logical extension of this alliance. The move embeds Iran deeper into China's technological ecosystem, reducing exposure to US pressure. For Tehran, it's a pragmatic step to safeguard national security and assert sovereignty. The transition is about more than navigation. It's about independence in a world where technology is power. Iran is betting its future on a new axis of cooperation. Iran's adoption of BeiDou is a bold geopolitical statement, aligning itself with China and challenging US dominance. By integrating with the Chinese system, Iran complicates US and allied military planning in the region. For China, this is a strategic win. Its technology now underpins a major regional power's critical infrastructure. The move deepens military and intelligence cooperation between Tehran and Beijing, enabling joint exercises and intelligence sharing. China gains a foothold in the Middle East, while Iran secures a navigation system immune to US interference. This partnership signals the rise of a multipolar world, where technology is a key battleground. The era of a single global standard is fading, replaced by competing technological blocks. Iran's switch is part of a broader trend. Countries are choosing systems that align with their geopolitical interests. The result is a more fragmented, competitive global landscape. For the US, this is a wake-up call. Its technological leverage is no longer assured. The balance of power is shifting, one satellite at a time. Iran's move is the most prominent endorsement of BeiDou yet, but it's part of a global wave. By 2026, over 150 countries have some level of BeiDou cooperation, especially along China's Belt and Road corridors. Nations like Pakistan and Thailand have integrated BeiDou into military and civilian systems, often with Chinese support. Even US allies are adopting BeiDou as a backup, using multi-constellation receivers for resilience. For most, it's about redundancy. But for Iran, it's a full, strategic pivot. BeiDou's growing user base creates a network effect, making the system more robust and attractive. Iran's decision will likely accelerate this trend, encouraging others to consider a similar switch. Iran's adoption of BeiDou challenges US strategic advantages and complicates its operations in the Middle East. The US can no longer threaten to cut off navigation access. BeiDou gives Iran a reliable alternative. American electronic warfare tactics like GPS jamming are less effective against BeiDou's encrypted signals. The US must now invest in new capabilities to counter China's system, opening a new front in tech competition. Sanctions intended to isolate Iran have instead pushed it closer to China, accelerating the creation of a parallel technological order. The era of GPS monopoly is over. The US must innovate and strengthen alliances to remain competitive. Technological choices are now deeply intertwined with geopolitics. The US faces a world where its supremacy is no longer guaranteed. Iran's pivot is a warning. Others may follow, reshaping the global tech landscape. The balance of power in navigation and beyond is shifting fast. Iran's decision to replace GPS with BeiDou is a landmark event with global implications. It's a deliberate move for strategic autonomy, aligning Iran's future with China and challenging US influence. This shift highlights the end of unipolar technological dominance and the rise of competing ecosystems. The world's digital infrastructure is now a key arena for great power rivalry. As more nations choose sides, the era of a single global standard is over. The cost of this fragmentation on cooperation, stability, and security remains to be seen. Iran's pivot is a symbol of a world in transition. The question now, who will set the standards for the next era of global technology?